Hello and welcome to Japan Lyric Room.
Hi, everyone.
In this show, we like to really savor the lyrics of Japanese songs.
Yeah, we try to unpack the meaning behind the phrases and explore some of the cultural background that you might not catch at first listen.
And today, we're looking at an absolute classic, a symbolic city pop song from Yumi Arai, who of course later became Yumi Matsutoya.
That's right, we're getting into Chuo Freeway.
This song is basically a textbook for the genre, isn't it?
It really is. It has that urban, refined sound, that perfect driving feel.
And it's grounded in a true story, which I love. It's based on Yumi Arai's real drives with Masataka Matsutoya, her boyfriend at the time, heading out of the city towards her family's home in Hachioji.
And that's so key, because this song, it isn't about the usual pop music drama. There's no big breakup, no, huge fight.
It's about something much more subtle.
Exactly. It's about that emotional gradient, that shift when the first big rush of a new relationship settles into something more familiar and, well, comfortable.
A kind of quiet assurance.
Yes. And with that comes this tiny sense of lack, almost a nostalgia for the early days. But it's all wrapped up in this really deep, unspoken intimacy. It's an urban poem, really.
Okay, so our plan is to analyze 7 specific phrases from the song that really highlight this. We'll look at how the Japanese expressions, the urban culture, and this mature intimacy all come together. Okay, so let's get into the car with them and start the drive. The first phrase really sets the scene and signals this transition we've been talking about. It goes, passing the former Chafu Air Base, heading toward the mountains.
The Chofu Air Base. For anyone who doesn't know the Tokyo area, why is that specific landmark so important here?
Well, it's significant both geographically and historically. Chofu Air Base was a former U.S. military site, so it's a symbol of a certain era.
Okay.
But on the Chuo Expressway itself, passing it is where the road literally pivots. It turns, heading away from the busy city center and out toward the suburbs and the mountains. So the verbs she uses here, oikoshi, passing, and mukate ikeba, heading toward, they're not just descriptive, are they?
Not at all. It's a very deliberate movement. They're physically moving from a public space, the city, toward a private, more intimate one. And that physical journey perfectly mirrors their internal one.
They're getting deeper into their relationship.
Exactly. As they move into the suburbs, they're also moving into a more secure phase of their life together.
And right as that happens, the scenery starts to reflect their mood. Which brings us to phrase 2. A beautiful line. In English, it's twilight spreads, staining the windshield.
Now, the word for twilight here is tasogare. And that word has so much more weight in Japanese than just, sunset, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Tasogare is a deeply emotional word. It's that ambiguous time between day and night. The light is fading, and there's often a feeling of nostalgia or quiet stirring of emotion. It's a boundary.
A boundary. And she says it's staining the windshield. So the glass isn't just glass anymore. Right. It becomes a screen for their state of mind.
Yeah.
It's catching the light from the outside and, in a way, projecting their internal emotions. This is a classic J-lyrics technique.
Using light and color to show an emotional shift without having to say a word.
Precisely. The landscape does the emotional work for them.
Which is such a perfect lead-in to our next section, which is all about how they communicate or don't communicate in this new, comfortable phase. Here's phrase 3.
Even if I say I love you, you can't hear me. The wind is too strong.
Okay, so if you're listening to this with a Western mindset, this might sound, well, a bit sad, right? Like a failure to connect.
It could, yes. It sounds like their words are getting lost. But that's not what's happening at all. In fact, it's the complete opposite.
The opposite? How so?
This isn't a sign of distance. It's a sign of incredible security. It's a kind of joking excuse. They're so comfortable with each other that a big sudden "I love you" might actually feel a little awkward.
Ah, that shyness that can exist even in really close relationships. That terrain.
Exactly that. So saying the wind is too strong is just a playful way to deflect that slight awkwardness. The feeling of love is already so understood between them that saying the words out loud isn't even necessary.
So you can only joke about it because you're 100% sure the other person already knows.
Spot on. It's an expression of deep, comfortable intimacy.
And as the drive continues and night falls, they slip into this amazing shared metaphor. That's phrase 4.
Which translates to, the city lights begin to twinkle. It's like the two of us became a shooting star.
I love how the night is signaled by something so quiet. Not traffic, but the matataki, the silent twinkling of the lights.
It really isolates them in the car, you know. It's just the two of them. And then you get this shooting star metaphor.
Now, in English, a shooting star often implies something fleeting, something that burns out fast. Is that what's meant here?
No, and that's the key cultural distinction. Here, the shooting star, or rise, is not about fragility. It's about speed, exhilaration, and most importantly, a shared trajectory.
A shared direction.
Yes. They're moving together as one single entity on this powerful, unified journey. It's a beautiful image of their lives being perfectly in sync.
That brings us to the next section, where that city poem idea really comes alive with some very specific details. Phrase 5 is,
To the right, a racetrack. To the left, a beer factory.
and these aren't just any old buildings. She's talking about the real Tokyo race course and the Suntory Musashino beer factory. Why is it so important that she names them?
Because it anchors the entire song in a real shared memory. For anyone driving that route in the 70s, those were massive landmarks.
It instantly makes the song feel personal, like you're listening to someone's actual memory, not just a story.
Exactly. It grounds the emotion in a physical place. You have leisure on the right, industry on the left. It paints a perfect picture of the suburbs during that post-economic boom era.
And that realism sets up this next much bigger metaphor in phrase 6. The English nuances. This road is like a runway stretching into the night sky.
A runway. That image suggests something straight, clear, and about to take off. What does that say about their emotional state?
It communicates this incredible feeling of openness and continuity, a sense of exhilaration. There is zero anxiety here.
No uncertainty about the future.
None at all. The road ahead is wide open and it just keeps going, stretching right into the night sky. It's a feeling that this moment, this security, will continue on smoothly and indefinitely. It's a very iconic image of 1970s Tokyo car culture.
It's beautiful. The road isn't a challenge to overcome. It's a trajectory they're already on.
Yes. Which makes the very next line, our final phrase, so interesting because at first it sounds like a complaint. Phrase 7. When we first met, we drove every day. Lately, you've been a little distant. You don't even see me home.
But wait a minute. The whole point of the song is that he is driving her home at this exact moment. So what is she complaining about?
This is the lyrical heart of the song, and it's all about the Japanese concept of amae.
Amae. We've talked about that before. It's often translated as dependence, but it's more complicated than that.
It is. Here, it's a kind of playful, trusting dependence. Her saying, "You've been a little distant," isn't a real accusation. It's a mild grievance, a little fuming, that's actually born from complete and total security.
So she's contrasting the excitement of their early days with the calmer reality of now. And she can only voice a complaint like that because she is 100% certain he loves her and isn't going anywhere. It's like she's testing the strength of their bond, knowing it won't break.
The complaint itself is proof of how stable they are.
That's it. You can only joke about distance when you are absolutely certain of closeness. It's the ultimate confirmation of their mature love.
So if we pull this all together, Chuo Freeway is just. It's an incredibly sophisticated song. It uses a real map of a city to chart the course of a relationship.
It really does. It captures all these subtle emotions of a long-term relationship, the comfort, the private jokes, the shyness, even the playful complaints. It shows that the real beauty of love isn't always that first passionate spark.
It's the quiet assurance of a shared direction.
That feeling of being on the runway together, knowing the road continues seamlessly into the future. The anxiety is gone, and all that's left is this calm, deep knowledge that you're heading in the same direction.
That's a really powerful final thought. The true peak of a relationship isn't just falling in love, but realizing you're already on that runway together.
Thank you so much for listening today.
We've put together some more detailed explanations on our website, so if you want to understand these lyrics even more deeply, please check the link in the description field.
And if you enjoyed this, we'd love it if you would subscribe or follow the show.
Your comments really do help us decide what to cover next, so if you have any thoughts or a song you'd like us to feature, please let us know.
We'll see you again next time.
This has been Japan Lyric Room.